Well, hi there and welcome back to Telephone Box Central. I've just been working on this hood. I actually tried to paint it yesterday with some white car primer I had that was a disaster. Obviously it's not for painting, it's only for spraying. But what I've done today is I've actually put, done my last bit of fiberglass in, hoorah. Fiberglass this ring of wood in here so I can put a light in there, and also I've put a wire through to the light as well and fiberglass that in, sort of thing, so it will be semi-hidden. All this top bit is actually painted white inside, and I've made the wire come out right in the corner here. And I don't know if you remember, but we put a bit of effort into doing a hidden wire channel. So that will actually be in the back corner over there. So, you know, hopefully it will be near where I think I'll get the wire out in the garden to it, sort of thing. So I'll have to put a joint in the wire here somewhere, but I can hide that underneath these like brackets, sort of thing, but that should be okay. So that's that bit done on this, and then take you over to my bandsaw. Well, again, here we are. I seem to have lost the video, but it makes no difference. I've got a couple of pictures up of the frame of the telephone box assembled outside. The first picture, you can see all the component parts we've built: the base, the stanchions, the kind of square to go around the top of the stanchions, and then the lid. So I assembled them outside. There's nowhere I've got the room to assemble this inside. And I wanted to do this to check the exact size for the door and the two side panels, sort of thing. So the bottom stanchions are bolted in, and then the rest really just clips together. So it was just a question of you know, making sure it was all square and everything like that, and then taking the measurement. So now we can go on and make the doors and the side panels that you know, with all the panes of glass that will fit exactly into the holes. I didn't want to do this just from measurements that I'd take without it being assembled, so just to be on the safe side. So there we go. So now we can start. The next bit's going to be making the doors. Hello there and welcome back to 3R Guitars. Now on this telephone box build, we're actually working on getting the doors made with all these panes of glass and things like that. So it's going to be quite a big job, I think, because there's basically three to make, although one's only a door, the other's a panel. So what I've actually done is I've cut the vertical parts of the stanchions of the doors all to length here, and this is the bottom here. So, you know, well, if I could get the right height, you know, the doors sort of like that with the glass strips between them, sort of thing. So I've cut all the bottoms and the sides of the doors to length. I actually mocked up the telephone box frame outside so I could measure everything and get it accurate, sort of thing. So here's gluing. I just wanted to show in the base of the door down here is quite a wide bit of timber, so I had some 6-inch wide board that I bought, and I had to add another 70mm strip on the top of it. Now they're done now, so we can actually start. I've got 3 of them, obviously the sides and the top. The 3 side ones, which is a door that hasn't opened, I joined a bit on the end because I've run out of that thin wood now. I've got everything out of it that I need, but yeah, just a bit short. But I'm not gonna, you know, it's expensive stuff. So there we go. I'll get cleaning those up, and then we'll get on with the doors. So okay, getting on to these doors, I've just cleaned my bench off a bit. So you see this is roughly sort of, this is the long edge of the door, and here's the base down here, the wide 2-inch base, and here's the top of the door here going along. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I just want to mark out now with the typical phone box, the K6 phone box. You've got these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 glass panes, so they are equally spaced between like the top and the top rail of the door and the bottom rail of the door. So I want to line these up perfectly to length, and then just mark there, and on the top here, like line this up on the edge and then mark there perfectly, then divide that distance into 8, and then we can work out where the crossbars are going to go in all the doors. And all the doors, well, the two sides and the doors are the same height, so there's going to be no problem, space, you know, there's no difference between them. So once I get one right, then we should be okay. So then, okay, now I've marked the position of the windows out in here very carefully. Takes a bit of fiddling around, you know, but they're all 208 millimeters, well, basically 209 millimeters apart, centre to centre of the window panes. Now I was looking at the original, and I made it 210.6 millimeters apart, so we're very, very close. We're only like 2 millimeters different on the width, so we know we're making a pretty accurate telephone box here. But I think it gets a bit pointless if you know, if you're going to change too many things, because it won't look like the real thing, which you don't really want. So hence getting the right sizes for these boards within reason, you know, getting the tailboard right and stuff, and the head. I mean, I went to the nearest size of commercially available timber, so there we go. So what I want to do next, I think this will be probably the most time consuming part of the build, but what I want to do is, I've measured the frame thickness. Now the frame thickness, I'm pretty sure, though I can't find it on this drawing, I've found it here as 3/4 of an inch, this frame around the telephone sign. So I'm guessing this is the same. I can't see they'd make it any different. So that's as near as, damn it, 3/4 of an inch is 20 millimeters. So I'm going to have like a 20 millimeter flat, you know, glazing bar going across there, and then I can't, what I want is like, yeah, I can't find my other, here's my other ruler. So what I want to do is basically, like here where there's a window, is put a vertical piece of wood on, and then a flat piece of wood, so it'll end up looking like that, so the glazing can go in against the T section underneath. And what I think, I want this this vertical section to be quite thick, relatively thick, because, you know, if you have spindly bits of wood, they bend easy, and you know, you're in like trouble. So I think, you know, I've got 20 mil to play with. If I basically divide that into 3, 7 mil, if I put a 7 mil strip across there, that's what I'm going to go for, is 7 millimeters. So what I want to do is cut like a little slot in here 7 millimeters wide in this door post. if you like, and then copy it on all the other doorposts sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to do there now, is plan that out, and I think it's well worth, if I cut this very accurately, then I can use this as a template to cut the other 5, because you've got 2 uprights on each door, or 2 uprights on each side and 2 uprights on the... Well, here we go. I've set this bit of wood up now to cut these slots. I've made a like a jig temporary glazing bar that's going to go in there. So, and this is 7mm wide as planned. So I'll just show you how I'm cutting these. First of all, I've marked the width, 7mm width, and I'm just going to cut that now with a saw. Done them 10mm deep, but I'm not running the saw right down to that depth. I'm not a great carpenter with hand tools, and tend to use all the you know, machinery I can. So I've got my router here with a 1/4 inch cutter in it, and I can set to 10mm depth, so I can just go on here . So that's got it at 10mm deep. The reason why I use the saw to cut the slot is just, if you tried to cut straight through with that, you'd need some kind of guide for it, otherwise it would wander. So the saw just keeps it straight really, but now the glazing bar fits really tight in there, and that's probably a bit too tight, but I can, you know, I can open it with a I'll probably open them up a little bit with a chisel or something, but you know, that's firmly in there now, right down to the bottom. So that's all good. Done all of these down here. Now I've got one more to do up here, so I'll get that done. Right, well, what I've done here is I've clamped another stanchion on this side, and for the doors, and I've transferred across where the slots are, and then basically cut another set of slots so they're as close as they possibly can be to each other. So you know, we've got like, I've relaxed the slots a bit with a chisel, so now they all just slot in really nicely. Come in the middle there, you can see it, you know, that slots in really well, nice and tight. The only mistake I think I've made is making these slots 10mm deep, because the glazing bars are going to be 20mm wide. I wanted them to be half and half over. It's not too serious, they should line up with the end of the slot. I'd have ideally liked them to like overlap the slot a little bit, which I can still do, but it just means there'll be less of the glazing on the inside sort of thing, but I'm not too bothered about that. So what I'm going to do now is take this bar off, keep the original one on, so I can always cut all 6 to the original, so I can unclamp this one and then put another one on and carry on. Well, welcome back to phone box land. I've had quite a surprise actually. I'm quite pleased, because you know, in these windows, can't find a bit of paper now, but the windows in the phone box, you've obviously got to make, where is the bit of paper? Here we go. you know, you've got to do this window framing. Now yesterday we cut the slots for the framing in the stanchions sort of thing for the doors, and yesterday, just at close of play, I started trying to make these sort of vertical slats that basically go, you know, in the door there. Then you get, you know, a long one. You can see I've made some very successfully, and go up there like that, you know, so you'll be making the window frames. I didn't think I'd have a lot of luck, and I imagined myself having to buy wood something like this, but I thought it's a bit of a shame because, you know, I've got lots of scrap lying around after doing this, and at the end of the day it's bloody expensive. So I'll show you what I did. Basically, you know, these short lengths of scrap wood I've got, that's all I did. Was I need 7mm on there, so I basically I've set this to a bit over 7mm, scribed a line up it, and then, you know, filled it in with a pencil so I know what I'm looking at. Now I've obviously, what I'm going to do now is on my bandsaw here, I'm gonna cut that out, so I'll get that done, and then you know, I'm surprised. So here we are. I've got a rough cut bit of wood now, but obviously I want to make it smooth and straight. What I was a bit worried about is cutting on that, it's going to be a bit wobbly. I mean, I haven't got a table saw, you know, like a circular saw which cuts straighter, but that bandsaw is pretty good. But what I've done, I've adjusted this planer to the 7mm, so I wind it, this sets the level of the blade, so basically I wind it back so it's a bit too wide, but it's only one wind is about 1mm. Let's do one of these slots here just to demonstrate, and you see, well, yeah, that's quite a tight fit in there, but yeah, that fits in there like that. So you know, I'm surprised it worked that well. Obviously when I do this, I've got so much wood on here, I might no, that's absolutely fine. So I can make loads of these. I've already made the longer strips, which is obviously just more sawing and more what's it. So I've done 6 of those, 2 on each door kind of thing, or 2 on the sides, 2 on the door. And now I've just got to make the cross bits, as many as I can out of these scrap bits of wood, and that will be another like bit of saving then. I think for the actual flat bars that are 20mm wide on top, I will try and buy some, because obviously these have got a BT section sort of thing eventually, you know, where I'm going to nail another bit on top, but those top bits are only 20mm wide, so I'll probably buy some wood ready for that, and they've got like a rounded edge, so I mean that's a fairly common one to get. So okay, I'll just carry on and do more of that. Well, here we are. What I've done now is very similar to what I did to do the slots in the doors, but I've added so I've put one side to the main door on here with these slots in, and then I've clamped the 2 long strips I need for the glazing bars, basically so I can very accurately go across now and cut the slots in these. Now the thing is that okay, these slots in this door frame are only actually 10mm deep. Now when I want these glazing bars to like cross over, you know, this timber is 27mm deep, so I've got to cut like a 13.5mm slot, cut halfway through each of them so they cross over, but at least this way I can get them all in the right place. So I'm going to initially like just saw in the same place using the door frame as a guide. I mean, I won't keep you there, but you can see exactly what I'm doing, and then I'll whiz through with the router again, but then I'll have to mark and make them deeper. But the one thing well, here we are, I'm starting to lay out the doors now. I've cleared my bench, and if I get out of the way you can see that I've got like a complete door laid out here. Now I've had to make my bench a bit bigger because my shed's so small, so I've screwed a plank of wood here and one up here, and I've used a spirit level to make sure that they're absolutely sort of level with one another and parallel. So with the door laid out like this, within reason, I know I'm not going to make a twisted door. So here we go, I've got this joint clamped and glued, and I've actually put one dowel in it, but I'll just show you the procedure. I mean, I've got this 9mm drill in here, so I'm going to go in at an angle. I think the dowels are stronger at an angle because, you know, they'll have to break to move, sort of thing, but it doesn't make it. I mean, I've got to do it at an angle anyway because this plank is in the way, but it really doesn't matter. So I've basically gone the whole depth of the drill in there. Now I can just measure my dowel a bit longer. Now what I actually do with the dowels is because this is not jointing dowel tends to be a bit ridged, which allows glue to come out. So what I do is I just cut a little groove down the length of it. Do it on both sides, and what that allows is, you know, when you've got glue in the hole and stuff like that, and you actually hammer the dowel in, sometimes you can't get the dowel all the way in because the glue is stopping it. So with two little grooves up the dowel, you know, you end up with being able to knock the dowel in. The only thing with doweling is really that, you know, you're knocking the dowel in, so, you know, you're not going to get a guarantee of getting glue all over it, sort of thing. So that can be a bit of a problem, but oh well. Like I say, we can't exactly do it like Chesterfield, so whatever it is. Okay, so there we go. That's that joint somewhat solid. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put two dowels in for now. I can't drill a third one here because, you know, the drill won't go in because of the plank. I mean, I could saw the plank off, but I don't really want to. So I'm happy with two there now. So that is on there as square as we're going to get it. And what I've actually done is I've measured, I set the door up, clamped everything, and I measured it diagonally, and both diagonals are identical, so you know that's pretty good. So what I'll do now is I'll get on this end here and glue this on and dowel it again, and you know, we'll have those two, and I'll let it set a little while. Sorry you couldn't see that then. But so I'll do the header of the door up here now, exactly the same. So this is what I've done now. I've cut one of the cross strips, and you know, with accurate slots in it. So here's the long one that's going up the door now. So these kind of cross halve together, and I want to make them quite a nice fit. So it's like that basically now, and you know, we'll have the other vertical strip this side, see if that fits on. I mean, it's got to be fairly accurate, this, you know, I want it, you know, fairly nice and accurate, so you don't get any wonky looking glass panes or anything. Yeah, this is still a bit tight, this side. I'll have to work on that a little bit. Let's try it the other way up. The other one might be, just to give you an idea of what it will look like. No, that's still tight. I'm gonna, oh no, it's going in, but there we go. So there's like a bit of window framing there, sort of thing, so that's quite nice. There we go. So what I've got to do now is basically make 7 of these now, so I can use this one is perfect. You know, if I put it in here, just make sure it does go in. That's absolutely fine, and then that's got to line up with these slots coming up here like this, which it looks as though it is. So there we go. First little look at the windows. That's nice, isn't it? There we go. So you can see now what we're aiming for. So I can make, well, like here we go. I've got the first, I've put the long bars in and glued them in. Got the first one in, and very pleasing actually. All of it went together really well, and if we check the squareness of it, it's just like perfect along there. So it's quite it's quite fiddly, but one thing I'm really glad is that I kept these all the same thickness as the door and didn't put more spindly bits in, because it's you know, these are quite flexible. I mean, they won't be when it's all in, but you know, so the next one, and what I'm having to do is like slightly like titivate each one, because you know the joints are, like you can see that's a bit tight. So you know, I'm just like, oh, let's get number 2 in then, hopefully. Best way to do these joints is just to pull them into place. I just put a clamp in instead of hammering them. there we go. So you can see the shape of the door coming on now. So I've just got another 5 of these to put in, and got 3 there. Where are the other 2 gone? Oh, there they are. Yeah. Fine. So I've just got to put the next one in now. Keep going. We all should be good. Thank you. I'll get you back when it's all done. So here we go. Well, that's a familiar sight, isn't it? Like, looks like a phone box door. Oops, tripping over stuff. That was rather more fiddly than I thought it was, to get all those like glazing bars in. They all really fit tight, and the trouble is you hammer one in or squash one in, and it like, you know, the others move a little bit and things like that, so you've got to keep going over it all the time, and I'm not doing it on a flat surface, so as you tap the glazing bars in, it springs a little bit, and you know, you were knocking this one in sort of thing, and then this one came loose a little bit, and so I've been across all of them again, and everything's right now. So the next bit I've got to do is to cut more strips slightly narrower than this, and then they go over there like that sort of thing, and then you get the, you know, the window framing done. But at the moment that's like as far as I want to take it, because I want to see, you see these strips are 27mm wide, and they really need to be 20mm wide to do that. And to be honest, I don't know if I want the hassle of actually, you know, shaving a load of these down to this thickness and then shaving them this way down to 20mm. If I can buy some 20mm strip, I'll do that, and then I can nail bits over like that, and then put the windows in from the back, and then put battens against the windows. I mean, it's going to be, you know, a month of Sundays, I think, to get all the glass in and stuff like that, but it should be ultimately doable sort of thing. So